This is Miami Marlins prospect Noah Perio, and you're listening to 27 Outs Podcast with Frank and Claudia.
It's time for 27 Outs Podcast with Frank and Claudia. Your number one source for minor league baseball news, interviews, and more. We've got your MILB fix. Let's see what's happening down on the farm. Here's your host, Frank Conti.
Good evening, MILB fans, baseball fans, 27 Out fans. I'm Frank Conti. I'm your host. It is Monday, December 22nd, 2014. Happy holidays. This will be our last show until next Monday, where we will obviously we'll be back on then. Friday, we will not do a show because it's the day after Christmas, so we will not be on the air. We have a great show planned out for you today, and I'll get into that in a minute, but let me introduce my two co-hosts today. We have two. Of course, the wonderful, the beautiful Claudia, like always. Claudia, how you doing tonight?
Doing well, excited for Christmas and my birthday. And I want to thank real quick everybody that has taken their time to wish me an early birthday, because we did have a little celebration last Friday, and a lot of 27 Out fans wrote to me saying happy birthday. So thank you. I'm so gracious for each and every one of you who took the time to say happy birthday to the Christmas Eve baby, myself. But regardless, we're all excited for Christmas. We're excited that it's a day closer to spring training and a day closer to baseball season for 2015.
Yes. And my second co-host, which does a lot for 27 Outs, is a writer, is an editor. He's in charge of a lot of things, and his name is Chris. Chris, how you doing tonight?
Hey, I'm doing good, Frank. I'm glad to be on with you guys for the show tonight.
I'm glad to have you. So, we got a big show planned out. A lot of stuff going on. We will be joined by a minor league prospect, meaning, let me explain that. A lot of times I put out there a Giants prospect, a Dodgers prospect, because they are part of a team already. This fella tonight should be on a minor league team, should be very close to the majors, but he's independent. There's a story behind it. We will get in it with him. You'll learn a lot. By the end of this show, you'll be like, wow, guy could have been flirting with a major league team right now. So I say minor league prospect because this year he'll probably be signed by a major league team and brought into the minors. That's why he's going to be on the show. We do have inside information. He's talking to a couple of teams already and stuff like that. His name is Jake Luce, so he'll be on about 6:15. You are listening to us on the Blog Talk Studio Network. That phone number is 347-539-5207. Of course, TuneIn Radio. That's the big one. That's where we're on. All the minor league teams, all the great sports talk shows are on that network. And you can find us at 27_Outs Baseball on Twitter, 27 Outs Podcast on Facebook, 27 Outs _MILB on Instagram. And we have a website as of right now. It is 27outspodcast.com. But Monday, not a week from today, it'll be a brand new website. Totally different everything. It's a WordPress website. It's a beautiful website. It's unbelievable. And it will be 27outsbaseball.com. The other one will go down probably the day after, so you won't be able to find that one. It's everything like it is now, except better. Plus there's an MLB section. A lot of different things going on there. A lot of things to go over besides Jake Luce calling in. I do have a rant. I'll get into that in about a minute. The other things with the show is that we will be doing a roundtable type thing coming up soon, probably twice a month. It will be a live feed where you can actually see us, YouTube channel type thing. I won't always be on it. Claudia won't always be on it. Chris will be on it here and there. A couple of our writers will be on it. We'll discuss baseball stuff, major leagues, minor leagues, both, Hall of Fame stuff, everything, And it's going to be get that right off the website. It'll be run by a couple of our writers and stuff like that. Good stuff. And, you never know. We might drop in and be on it every now and then. So you get to put, maybe if you don't know what we look like, you get to put the face with the voice, I guess. Also, we have an MLB section we bring a bunch of people in that's going to be covering that. And they're going to do a weekly podcast off of this network right here. It'll probably be like a Wednesday or something like that, once a week, discussing all the stuff that's going on in baseball, rounding up the week. MLB, Major League Baseball. Well, all that stuff's on the website when it kicks off next Monday. The website is up now, but it's not. We'll see little tweaks here and there. So you can catch all that stuff up. But again, this is the main one, 2 days a week, Monday and Friday, 6 to 8, minor league baseball, the teams, the coaches, the players, everything. Of course, now that we have players on all the way till April, we actually have so many players on that we're going to be doing Saturday shows starting in January all the way to April. So it'll be Monday, Friday, and Saturday. So we got a lot of great players coming on. Noah Syndergaard, a bunch of top prospects, a bunch of great players that are coming on. So just stay tuned with that, and you'll see all that stuff kicking out. And with all that said, we're proud as a network to be bringing you all this stuff, and we do it all for you and for the players. So thank you. And I'm going to kick into my rant. I'll let my panel chime in on that. And then Jake should be calling in when we're about done with that. So I had 2 rants today. One to get to both of them. One will be quick. The other one's going to be a little longer. Let me do the quick one real fast. So you guys will be like, oh, okay, cool. If you are someone that gets angry very easily, and you consider this an issue with yourself, maybe you go to anger management classes, maybe. You go see somebody for your anger. And you're like, I don't know if this is really working. I don't know if this is really working for me. I want to know if I'm getting my money's worth. There's one way to test that. Go to freaking Walmart during this week, or on a Friday and Saturday. And if you could walk through Walmart and not want to punch somebody in the face, then those classes are working for you. Whatever you're doing is working. I had to swing by Walmart today, and I don't think I have anger issues. Maybe I do. I don't know. But I wanted to punch about 35 people in the face. Not 2 or 3, about 35. So, I'm just, and I don't think I have anger issues. I'm a pretty nice guy. I'm down to earth. But no, today I wanted to punch 35 people in the face. So if you do have anger issues, you probably want to punch more than 35 in the face. So if you're doing those classes, want to see if the money worth the money, go there, check it out. You'll be all good. So my first little rant got off my chest. Now the big rant that I want everybody to chime in on is and we only got about 5 minutes, so I hate to open this up to discussion. Listen, I'm a neutral person on this discussion. I don't pick sides. I try to look at it both sides at a point of view, but there's some things that bother me. Now this cop stuff, with all these people protesting and people complaining about getting shot or choked out or whatever, listen, you need the police. If you didn't have the police, it would be like The Purge. You ever see the movie The Purge, the last 2? It would be like that every day. And the people that complain about the police the most are the people that would need them the most if there isn't police. So just throwing that out there. But again, for every 12 great cops, there probably is one bad cop. Whatever. So I don't pick sides. But the moral of this story is professional athletes like LeBron James, football players, hockey players, baseball players, you are considered heroes. You're considered somebody's idol. You're not a hero because you're not a cop, you're not a fireman, you're not an EMT, you're not an Army or a Marine or anything. You're a baseball player, but you're considered heroes. You're considered, an idol. And when you're put on that plateau, okay, of an idol, of a hero, you better act like it. And some things you cannot do. And sometimes people do things without thinking it totally through. And we all do it. But the guy that was choked in New York City and died later on, and he said, I can't breathe. This wasn't a good guy. You understand that, right? This wasn't a guy that was helping out the mission, helping out homeless people. He got caught selling crack a couple of times to undercover officers. He's got arrested before. And then that day he wasn't. But he was selling something, but it was loose cigarettes, but he was selling something. And when the cops approached him, they thought he was doing his normal thing of selling crack. He wasn't happy. Things happen. That's not the point. That day is not the point. It's his past. Selling crack, selling whatever he was selling in the past. Now, if that guy would have sold that to your kid and your kid would have overdosed or something, you wouldn't have liked him too much. But whatever, that's not even the point. But as a professional athlete, when you lift up your shirt or you come out on the court with a shirt that says, I can't breathe, what you're telling all those young people in the audience is it's okay. What this guy did in the past, he was okay. Being a crack dealer or a cocaine dealer, whatever, it's okay. It's okay this guy was a bad guy. That day, I understand that day things happen, but what about his past? You're representing a crack dealer when you wear that shirt. You're representing bad people when you hold your hands up coming out onto a football field. Another guy that had bad past. Forget what happened today. His past put him in that situation. And as a professional athlete, someone that's idolized, I'm not talking about, I'm not throwing a name out here. I don't want people to get upset with me. I don't mean anything. Like Reed Johnson, a bench player on the Marlins or something. I'm talking about LeBron James. I'm talking about big athletes that are big in people's eyes. When you play basketball, you don't want to be, whatever the guy R.J. Smith on the sixth man on the Knicks. You want to be LeBron James, Kobe Bryant. When that's the case, you cannot do things like that. I feel that's the way I look at it. You cannot do things like that. You've got to put yourself above all that stuff. I understand that day was a bad day. It shouldn't have happened. But what about the past? When that shirt is on you and you show those kids in the stands that shirt, it's not the day. It's that person as an overall. And that person overall was not a person you would leave in your house to watch your house if you had to run to the store. They're not a person you would leave to watch your kids if you had to run out real fast or go to work. But that said, it makes me sick to see things like that. Because I want my kids' idol to be better citizens, to be people that are above the criticism. That's how I feel. And I know there's going to be two sides to every story. I know people that disagree with me and agree with me, but hey, that's what this is about. And one thing great about everything, and especially sports, is that you could always disagree and have a conversation on it. It's not just black and white. So, with that said, I think Jake's calling in now, pretty much right on time. If we have time after Jake, we'll come back on this subject, and I'll let my panel, Claudia and Chris, see if they want to put in their little 2 cents on it. So without further ado, I think Jake is calling in now, so stay tuned. Jake, is that you, bud?
That's me.
Hey, how you doing tonight?
What's up, guys? How you guys doing?
Good. You on with me, Frank, Claudia, and Chris.
All right. I'm looking forward to it, man. Hello, Claudia, Chris. How are y'all doing?
I'm doing good, Jake.
Doing great, Jake. Good to talk to you.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. So, how are you guys, man? How's the show going so far?
Good, good. You know, it's our second show back from a little mini vacation, so yeah, we're just kicking it off, getting ready for the holidays. So yeah, we're ready to do our thing. So we're glad to have you on. Want to get this first, like, let's say 40 minutes. We're gonna get into more of baseball, a little bit of your story, the whole nine, and then the last hour we'll probably get into the fun stuff that we do with all the players. You know, to get to know you off the field, the little things that make Jake tick.
Okay. All right. That sounds like a good plan to me.
All right, so let's jump right into it. Been playing baseball most of your life, obviously. And, for people that don't know, I said this earlier in the show, but I'll say with you on, I say MILB prospect when I tweet out that you're going to be on, because you're a prospect that should be in the MILB, and you probably will be, and most likely be. And for people that don't know, because they do see AA, and they think of AA baseball, not what you play in, the American Association. And there's a story behind why you're probably not in the MILB and playing in independent. But before we get to that story, let's just talk about your baseball career up to this point. You were playing for the Wichita Wingnuts. I love the name. I love the logo too. And you basically tore up that whole league. I mean, 341 batting average. The team was the champions, and you do everything right there. I mean, you just tear up that whole league. Explain to the people that are listening about that league, who maybe be in that league, what that league's about, and why it comes so easy to you over there.
Well, first of all, I don't want to say it came easy. I mean, being in the American Association is well. I mean, Frank, it's a league with a lot of guys that former big leaguers. I was fortunate enough to play and really learn from guys that most guys had been to at least AA, AAA level, and just really tried to learn. And I wouldn't say, I mean, nothing in my life's come very easy. So I've had to work extremely hard to get to where I am. And Wichita. I mean, Wichita is awesome. Everybody. They were already a really good team. I think when I got traded there, I think they were like 10 games up, and I came in for the last 35, 40 games, and was able to really contribute, and that was the goal. So, anytime you go to a winning team, it's like you're expected to perform and you're expected to produce, and I knew that going in. So the relationships that I had with my teammates in Brownsville, and then obviously with the guys in Wichita, that was pretty special. And then being able to obviously win percentage wise, I guess, be one of the the best minor league teams in history was also pretty cool. So to get that championship ring was obviously the most important thing, and we got it done.
Yeah, definitely. Now, even in college, you batted well over 300. I mean, you have very good speed. You have a good arm. You hit for contact. You play very good defense. You run. Your speed to first and overall is just very good. I mean, you're considered a 5'2" player, and people listening to this saying, "Wow, he's a 5'2" player. He never batted under 300 in his life. Why is he in the minors?" Well, let's touch into that. Like, can you tell your story about what happened to you when with your father and everything? Can we get into that a little?
Yeah, we can get into that. I mean, you just kind of asked me what you want to know, and obviously you read the article by Chris. Phillips. It was just a tremendous article, and I'm a pretty private guy, so I don't really go around and telling people, I guess, my story, because I feel like, in all honesty, Frank, everybody has a story, and playing baseball is something that I've always loved to do, but I've always felt that I had an opportunity to play at a high level, and just playing in the minor leagues is obviously not the end goal. Obviously the goal is to get to an affiliated organization, play in the big leagues, and win a world championship. I mean, and I know some people may think that those are high standards, but I feel like if you're in the minor leagues, I mean, it's not like I wasn't a guy that was drafted. I wasn't a guy that signed a big signing bonus or had a lot of money in the bank. It was just something that I always felt, that I could do. And there's a lot of help that I had along the way, but also there's a lot of people that, that doubted me too. And to be quite honest, you can take that one of two ways. You can let it, obviously affect you in a negative way, or you can use it as motivation. And I obviously chose the latter. So very fortunate to be in the position that I'm in right now.
Yeah, and I mean you've done well, and in 2013, I'm pretty sure your father was diagnosed, and that's the reason why you stepped away from the game, correct? You stepped away from the game, and that's the reason why you stepped away from the game, correct? You stepped away from the game to take care of your father.
Right. Yeah, I was in Grand Prairie, in spring training with the Grand Prairie Air Hogs, and they traded me to the Rockford Aviators, which is in the Frontier League. So, I got the news that I was traded, and in Grand Prairie they told me, hey, you're just going to be a fourth guy here. You're going to be a fourth outfielder. You're not going to get too much playing time, so we're doing you a favor. They kind of, it's kind of the same story, pretty much everywhere you go. So I said, okay, I shook their hands, and, it was just one of those deals where, hey, it's a business. So, was looking forward to going to Chicago to play and go play in Rockford. But, at the same time, like I said, you go there and you expect to perform. Well, the day that after I got traded, my dad was diagnosed. And obviously, Frank, at the time, you don't, cancer affects everybody one way or another. You know what I mean? Brain, tumors and all that stuff. I mean, it's pretty scary stuff. I mean, you see it all the time. But until, it happens to somebody that's, real close to you, you really don't know how you're going to react. So after I was traded, I went ahead and went up to Chicago, and I think I was there 3 or 4 games, and I was 0 for 15. So Rockford didn't really have a choice, I guess. I just told them, I said, look, guys, I got to take care. I mean, family comes first for me, and so I decided to step away from the game and make sure that everything was in order at home. And obviously, he recovered and he's doing well. He's Superman. My dad is somebody that I really look up to, and he taught me the game and instilled in me the values that that I needed to have, and I definitely wouldn't be here without him. But at the same time, when he got sick, it allowed me to step away from the game and kind of recreate myself as a player. And so I'm a big believer in everything happens for a reason, and regardless of what religion you are or what you believe in, I think that God's doing some pretty special things, and here we are. So if my dad hadn't got sick, I probably wouldn't be in the position that I am right now.
Okay, all right. That sounds that's a good positive swing on it. And how long were you away from the game? If you could tell everybody that hasn't read the article, how long were you away from the game before you came back?
That's a great question. So when I graduated from Elon University in 2012, obviously I didn't get drafted, and I joined Amarillo, the Amarillo Sox, which is an American Association, about 3 months later. So I was, I only got like 60 or 70 at-bats there, and then went to play in the California Winter League, and then that was 2013. So I signed with Grand Prairie out of the California Winter League, and then eventually missed all of last year. So I basically was away from the game. I would say a good solid year and a half. I really hadn't had a full season until this year since college. So you can almost say it was 2 years, 2 years away from the game. And what I found out was if you're away from the game for a very long period of time, you tend to be forgotten. And so since I wasn't a guy that was a high draft pick or anything, I mean, it was pretty easy to forget about me, and I understand that. So I just tried to work my way back in and ended up in a pretty good situation in Wichita.
And you did phenomenal, and MVP standards basically. And with that said, when you were away from the game, did you do anything baseball related, like to stay?
Yeah. So when I was away from the game, that's when I made the decision. Either I was going to do this or I wasn't. I had have a really good degree from, one of the top universities in my field in the country, and was very fortunate to get that, because I wasn't a huge fan of school, but was able to get my degree. And so when you have that degree in hand, it's really tough. I promised my folks that I'd get my education, that I'd get my degree, and fortunately it was at a great institution like Elon, which was awesome. But back to your question, whenever my dad got sick, I had to make a decision, because what I was doing at that time wasn't working, obviously. Somebody somewhere didn't think, scouts obviously didn't think that, that I was good enough. And to be honest with you, I probably wasn't. I probably wasn't good enough. So I basically had to change 20 years worth of swing mechanics. And I'm not saying I had a bad swing by any means, but, when you change from your timing mechanism to, obviously I'm a leg kick guy now, that takes a long time. And so it took me, I think I had it written down somewhere, but it took me about, 72 or 73 weeks, pretty much 5 times a week in the cage, to get to where I felt comfortable with it. And once I made that decision, I just got in the weight room and tried to put on some weight, try to get, make my weaknesses strengths, and obviously try to get my strengths better. And it took a long time. So during that year and a half, 2 years, I was working, and I said, I'm going to do this. You know what I mean? And fortunately, I was able to get better, and obviously that still remains the goal to this day, is to try to continue to improve every day.
Nice. Cody and Chris, do you have some things you want to say to Jake?
Chris, go ahead, and then I'll go.
Yeah, just listening, I've had an opportunity to talk to Jake a number of times while I was writing the article. I would interview him, and then I'd learn something else, and I'd revisit it and come back to him. And once again, now I'm here and I'm listening to him, and this is all new to me. I'm hearing new things. You just said 72 to 73 weeks to make those changes. How do you know that?
Well, Chris, we've had that conversation. I'm kind of a nut when it comes to tracking progress. I think that's really important. So for me, like, one thing that I'll do is I'll keep voice memos. I have a smartphone like most people, so I just say, okay, hey, this is what I did today. This is how I felt in the cage. And I remember the voice note that I still have on there, and it says something to the effect of, all right, I'm going to make this change, and talk to a few guys, talk to a few hitting coaches, and I'm going to make this change. And like I said, then there's however many 100 voice memos in between of progress that was made. And then I just remember looking back one day and saying, wow, this is when I started to do this, and now I'm starting to finally see some good results. But I'm telling you, man, I don't know. I just think tracking it is very important. You know what I mean? I think obviously the game is a mental game, and if you don't know yourself well enough as a player, that's what all the big league guys say. They when you ask them for advice, they always talk about keeping it simple and playing your game. So I feel like as a player, you got to know yourself better than anybody else, so that way when you struggle, you're able to get out of it quickly, and you can recognize the factors that occur when you're going well and when you're not going well. So you got to be able to adapt along the way. And I think the maturity that I've kind of I guess ascertained, if you will, along the way mentally has probably been the most important thing, and the reason why 2014 was a successful year.
I get a kick out of that. I know that you do have in addition to athleticism, you have this real analytical approach, and we have had conversations about your analytical approach. But hearing something like that, 72 to 73 weeks, off the top of your head, I think it's funny. I can't help but laugh that you keep up with that, and I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing like I don't know who keeps up with their progress like that. I enjoy hearing that kind of stuff. Another thing I did, and I want to throw some questions at you that I never have talked to you about. I did a lot of diligence on this article. I came upon Jose Melendez when I did an article on the Texas Winter League, and he was just really, really favored you quite a bit and had a lot of great things to say about you. And the reason I asked Jose about you was because I looked at a number of his top producers in the league from the previous year. And he bragged about you so much that I decided to look into it and see what I could find. I talked to you, and I followed up by interviewing a number of scouts. And I know you've read the article, and a lot of the things they say about you, all of them describe your athleticism, your hard work, your work ethic. They call it off the charts, one of a kind, somebody who wins. How do you feel about these guys saying these things about you, Jake?
Well, I mean, it's always good to be recognized as a guy that that plays hard. You know what I mean? That's one thing. I think as a player, you can always control your effort level. You know what I mean? And it's a long season. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where hustle and attitude, are it's you against you when it comes to that stuff. So I remember a quote that I'm a big quote guy, Chris, as you already know, and I remember a quote from George Brett, who I love. I mean, obviously he played before my time a little bit, but he said a writer asked him. They said, George, what do you want your last at bat to be like? And some baseball people have probably heard this quote before, but he said, I want to hit a hard ground ball to second base and run it out as hard as I possibly can to show everybody in the stands that that's the way the game's supposed to be played. So that stuff like that really resonates with me. But at the same time, it's one thing to be a guy that works hard and kind of, if you will, I guess the Rudy mentality, if you will. But for me, that's I'm not talented enough, and I'm not the 6'3", 6'4" guy that throws 95 off the bump to where I can get away with not putting in everything that I got. And you have to be smart about it too. But at the same time, I just I guess if they if they think that's good, obviously I got to get better because I'm still not an affiliated organization, and so obviously I still got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I noticed a couple of things. They compare you to Dustin Pedroia frequently. What do you think about that comparison?
I mean, who doesn't like Dustin Pedroia? I mean, you just watch him play. I mean, I think you kind of take him for granted a little bit. I think I don't want to say Red Sox fans take him for granted by any means because they understand what he brings to the table day in and day out. I mean, I read Pedroia's book and just some of the way he's very demonstrative. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure he's from California, and parents didn't have a whole lot of money, but obviously he found a way to make it work. You know what I mean? He found a way to take his tools, and obviously I think he was a supplemental first rounder. So, obviously, going to Arizona State and playing for Pat Murphy over there, he obviously is a guy that is just a grinder, and he's found a way to Frank, probably what has he got, 2-3 world championships right now? I mean, that's what you want, man. You want to get there and you want to.
I think he's a little smaller than you, though.
Yeah, I mean, I think he probably is. He's probably like 5'6", 5'7", but he plays like he's 6'4". Yeah, he plays like he's 6'4". So obviously the mentality that he brings and the grit. I mean, that's something that as a player, you really. I don't think you can teach that. I think you either got it or you don't. And to hear scouts, to compare me to a guy like him, it's just really an honor just to be in the same sentence as a guy like that.
Hey, I'd pay to be 5'7". I would pay to be 5'7".
I respected all these guys, and all these guys had a lot of insight. I had a pleasure talking to them. I mentioned in the article that I talked to Chris Carminucci of the Diamondbacks, and I really respected his approach to scouting and his approach to evaluating players. And I wrote in my article that he was the most conservative of the three scouts. I actually respect how conservative he is because he doesn't want to oversell someone or a player or something to that effect. And he made a comment that he said something to the effect of that he couldn't. He wouldn't say that he couldn't hit the 95, 90-mile-an-hour fastball every day the way that they do in the majors, but he didn't know he hadn't seen you do it. Just want to give you an opportunity to respond to that. Can you do it, Jake?
Well, I'd like to think I can. I mean, I face guys that throw that hard, and I think it's obviously the hardest thing to do in sports is to hit a round ball with a round bat, especially 95 plus. But I guess if I get the opportunity, I guess we'll find out, right?
I hope so. Claudia?
Jake, the transition from college, which was a big part of your career, if I'm not mistaken, to indie ball. Can you take us through that? What was the main differences that you encountered as a player?
That's a great question, Claudia. Playing at Elon, it's a mid. I guess it's considered a mid-major, but we opened the season against South Carolina, after they had won back-to-back national championships. So the talent level was obviously there. In pro ball, it's obviously it's kind of, I don't want to say it's every man for yourself, but some of the differences, it's you're responsible to make sure you're in shape. You're responsible to make sure that you do your routine pregame, and it's not as team oriented, I guess. But the competition level obviously was something that coming straight out of college, going to the American Association, playing against guys that had been in minor league baseball 8, 9, 10 years. Obviously that was certainly a jump, but now that I've played there and had the experience with older guys and been able to learn from them, I think I think they taught me along the way. I just try to be a sponge and learn everything I can, try to get a little bit better every day.
Okay. And you mentioned just now to Frank the struggles that you had with your dad being diagnosed. Did that personal struggle make you stronger as an athlete, or did you find some difficulty within?
Oh, well, it was difficult at the time. If you read Chris's article, there was a lot of things that happened right at that, point in time that, that made it real tough. So I think, just like with anybody in life, you get to a point where you hit kind of rock bottom, and you really have nowhere else to go, but up. If they say if you fall, fall on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up, and that's what I did. I really didn't. I had no other choice. I knew that baseball was something that I always wanted to do. I knew that going through a family struggle like that was obviously really tough at the time. But like I said earlier, Clyde, I feel like I said, everything happens for a reason. I probably wouldn't be in the position I am if those events didn't occur. So it definitely made me stronger for sure.
Yep.
And one more question before we kick it back to Frank. I know you for a few years now, and I know that one of the biggest things about you is that you're a big family guy. Obviously, you just mentioned the struggle with your dad and everything like that. And I haven't asked this, you're the first player I asked this, but I'm always curious. How does somebody that's so family oriented get through the sacrifice that baseball put you guys through about being away from your family? How does that affect you? Does it affect you on the field of not having your family around, or is it something that you just kind of leave for, after the game or pregame?
Well, that's another good point. Family always comes first. That's just the way that I was raised, and when it comes to baseball, obviously you travel a lot, you're away from your family, and so at times it gets tough, but at the same time you just got to suck it up, because if you want to be a professional athlete, that's just part of the job. It's part of the gig. So yeah, you have to sacrifice a lot of different things. And I'm glad you asked that, because Claudia, not many people know this, but my whole family's in the Bahamas right now for Christmas. They flew out there for 10 days, and I told them as much as I want to go, who wouldn't want to go to the Bahamas, right? As much as I want to go. I got winter ball coming up here in about 3.5 weeks, and I really can't afford to take 10 days and and lose the gains and the progress that I've made up to this point. So the great thing about my family is that they understand that. You get one shot to make a dream become a reality, and I'm kind of in the thick of it right now. So they understand that, and if you have a family, that understands that and understands the sacrifices that you have to make, then it makes things a lot easier. But yeah, anytime you're away from family, it's always tough.
So what do you do for Christmas?
You know what? I'll probably be at the gym, Claudia. That's probably where I'll be, either at the gym or in the So I got family. I have family around here. My grandparents live here in Dallas, and I got family scattered around. So I'll probably be making my rounds. So got a lot of family support here. So I'm sure I'll be fine.
Okay, good. Frank?
See, that's the guy you want. You want a guy that is dedicated, just 5'2" type athlete. That's the type of guy I want on my team. That I want to go out and put on my team, and that's willing to keep learning too. I mean, special things there. I have a little answer for Claudia's question that you probably didn't think of about being away from family and the reason why you do it. It's 6 words. 6 words. And for every baseball player, it would be the same 6 words. And it's for the love of the game. That's it. That's how I look at it.
Is that because that's your favorite movie?
Yeah, that helps out, but still, for the love of the game, I'm sorry.
Frank, you're a Marlins fan. That's about the Tigers, man. What's up with that?
Well, wait. Claudia is the Marlins fan. I'm more of a baseball fan.
He likes to blame me.
Yeah.
I see that. That's all right. It's still one of my favorite movies for sure.
I grew up a Met fan because I'm from Queens, so I grew up a Met fan. So not much better, but whatever. It's I always tell myself, why couldn't I grow up a Yankee fan? I have a lot of winning in the blood there, but grew up a Met fan, Jet fan. Not too many wins there.
Yeah, and I would say, Frank, I think that what you said, the reason why guys like us make the sacrifice, and it is for the love of the game, because I definitely love the game, but I think more so for me, I really don't want to look back, and say that I didn't do everything that I needed to do to give myself the best opportunity to be successful. I mean, it probably sounds a little bit cliche-ish, but for me, I want to be able to go to the Bahamas when I'm, out of baseball, because I, made the sacrifices early in life, and if you want to do things that people, don't get to do, you got to do things that people aren't willing to do right now, So it's just one of those. Yeah, it's just one of those things where you gotta decide what you want. You know what I mean? And once you make that decision, then you just do everything you can to give yourself the best opportunity. And that's not to say I don't have fun. I mean, I have fun. Claudia knows I have fun. I'm a pretty fun guy, I would say. But I understand what my priorities are. And hey, if sacrificing the Bahamas now, when I'm 25 years old, to be able to have a house in the Bahamas when I'm 35, I'll take that chance.
Nice. Now you have a great quote in this article, and I want you to say it in your own words instead of people reading it. And I don't know if obviously I'm going to have to break it down a little so you know what quote it is. And it's something about not being signed. Do you remember what you said?
Something to the effect of, if I keep getting better, they'll have to sign me, and that's the way they got to look at it. You talking about that one?
There's another one. If you don't get signed, and your reply is,
yeah, failure's not an option. My story can't end like this. That's the one you're talking about, right?
Yes. Yep. My story can't end like this. I love that. I love that you know what your goal is, and you know what you can give, and it's just proving it to everybody. And like you said, you're away from the game for a while. People forget who you were. If you weren't away from the game, you would have probably been closer to your goal right now than you are. Do you agree with that or not?
It's hard to say. I mean, I guess I could, you could agree with that, but you just never know. You know what I mean? Because, if I didn't have that time away from the game, I may have not, been able to hone my craft and, to work on my game. So I think the time away, probably helped. It did hurt a little bit, because like I said, people tend to forget about you. But, obviously, up to this point, I haven't been good enough. I mean, that's pretty much what it boils down to. There's scouts that have seen me play and they haven't signed me. So obviously, in their eyes, I'm not good enough. So for me, it's like, failure's not an option. You know what I mean? I'm all in. I got to be all in. You know what I mean? And for me, not being a guy, like I said, that's a first rounder, second rounder. Shoot, I wasn't even drafted. So I got to understand. I got to be a realist here. It's just a matter of just making a decision, and that's what I did, man. So to me, you have to have that. It's I don't want to have. It's obsessive. You have to be obsessed, with success. I have I have average skill, but I have undeniable will. That's one of the quotes that I like, because I wasn't ever a guy that was the best guy on the team. I'll be honest with you. I just I believed in myself. You know what I mean? I believed I could do it. But obviously, seeing some of the talent that's in the minor leagues now, and some of the talent that the guys that I have been teammates with, and the guys that I played against, I tell you, these guys are good. You know what I mean? So for me, I need every advantage that I can get to be able to compete.
Well, I wish I had that average skill you're talking about. The 341 is a better than average there. I understand what you're saying. Now, we're going to get into we're going to get into the other side of this. We're going to get into our fun side of this, so everybody gets to know you a little better, away from the baseball story. But before we do that, what's going on right now with you? Like, is there anybody talking to you that you could tell us, without giving any information away? Anything close? Because we've dabbled and heard some things. Anything that's promising towards the big leagues teams?
I would say that there's a little bit of talk, but that's just kind of how it's been for the last 3 years. So it doesn't really sway me either way. I know that there's some organizations that are intrigued, but I think that would probably be a better question for my agent at Jay Alexander. I just signed on with them last week, and I know that they've been doing their due diligence to get the word out. But honestly, it's just like anything in life. You kind of get to a point where no matter what any scout says, or no matter what anybody says, I just really don't put a whole lot of merit into what people say. You know what I mean? If you want to do something, let's do it. You know what I mean? If you want to give me the opportunity, let's roll with it. You know what I mean? But just because people talk doesn't mean that anything is going to happen. So I would say there's some talk, but I got to see something else. I got to see something more than that for me to to believe it.
Okay. All right. So let's jump into the other part of this. Ask you a couple of fun questions, getting a lighter note here. Some of these things are fan submitted, and some are from us and stuff like that. I'm going to jump into a little fantasy side here. If you could face one pitcher in the MLB right now and one from the past, no matter the outcome, strikeout, home run, double, who are the two pitchers? The one that's in the major leagues now, and one that's not in the majors anymore.
Geez, who would I want to face? Frank, you put me on the spot here, man. I mean, I faced Kershaw in high school, if that counts, and that wasn't any fun. I'm gonna tell you that right now. He's pretty darn good. I mean, I could tell you guys that I wouldn't want to face: Baumgartner, Kershaw, Randy Johnson, those kind of guys. But I think it's hard to say who I would want to face because those guys are in the big league.
Just so you could say, I faced that guy. I went up to the bat against him, and you could put that down on your resume, no matter what happened.
I would love to. I would probably, I grew up a big Rangers fan, man. So from the past, I'd like to say, I faced Nolan Ryan. Okay. I'm just not going to charge him out on him because Robin Ventura tried that and it didn't work out too well for him.
No, not at all. And what about present? Just a guy you can say, hey, man, I got in the box against blank.
Man, I don't know. I guess that's kind of a, what I would like to do? I'd love to face Fernando Rodney, in the ninth and get a base hit so that he didn't get to do his little arch, his little arrow thing. Yeah. because I don't know. I mean, he's obviously a tremendous pitcher, but I think somebody faced him this year and he blew a save, and I can't remember who it was, but I think it was Trout that did it actually. They were facing the Angels and he blew a save, and I think they started doing that the arrow thing. So I thought that was hilarious. So
nice.
Something like that maybe.
All right, so staying with the fantasy thing, you get signed by a minor league team, you move up to the majors. You're in the majors, and you have a chance to hit a home run to win the game, or hit for the cycle. You win the game both ways, but you go 1 for 4 with the home run to win the game, or you hit for the cycle. Which one do you take?
Oh, I hit for the cycle, no doubt about it.
Okay.
I don't care if I win the game on a walk-off bunt. As long as we win the game, that's what matters. You know what I mean? So
okay.
I'd want to hit for the cycle.
All right. That's a good one. And we know your favorite team growing up was the Rangers. Who was your favorite player growing up?
Rusty Greer was my favorite player growing up. Number 29, Rusty Greer, left fielder for the Rangers. Never had a chance to meet him, obviously, but he lives in this area. So just a guy that I love the way that he played, probably because, I kind of felt like we were, pretty similar styles of player. But you probably never heard that one before. But, just
never.
just like any kid, you look up to, to the guys that, you feel like that you could be similar to. But, big Ken Griffey Jr. fan, obviously. But, Rusty Greer was a guy that I really enjoyed watching, when I was a kid.
Okay. All right. Do you play video games?
Do I play video games?
Yeah.
I have before. Not so much now, though.
It's a two-part question. The fan submitted this back when we used to do the show before we went on break, and it's because they wanted to know if the baseball players actually play the baseball game and make themselves. Have you ever played a baseball game and made yourself?
I think so. I think when MLB The Show, first came out, me and my buddy had some pretty good battles on that. But I don't know if I ever made myself, man. That'd be fun to do. I think you gotta create a player. But I just you know what I mean? If you make yourself, you can only hit with yourself or whatever. So I like hitting with all the guys that I looked up to. But as far as today goes, honestly, I just don't have time. I got the business to run, and then I got obviously my career to take care of. So, I wish I had a better answer for you. But I was always terrible at Call of Duty and stuff. So I was just you know what? I don't even know how. I'd run around. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be able to see anybody, and I'd be shot before I knew it. So
oh my God!
I'm telling you, I was terrible. I'm terrible at those games. No, I get in there and mix it up a little bit, but. I'm not gonna expect to do any good. You know what I mean?
What about a pitcher on your current team that you wouldn't want to face with the game on the line?
Pitcher on my current team, man, we had some good guys, man. I tell you, probably Mike Zuzalik. He was one of our relievers. Had a heck of a year. He was with the Rangers, and he was our 8th inning guy, believe it or not. And then we had Alex Hinshaw. Alex Hinshaw, pitched. He's a lefty. He pitched for the Giants. I think he had a full year in the big leagues, and he was pretty awesome. He was traded to Grand Prairie towards the end of the year. But those two guys, man, those guys are pretty salty, man. And obviously, I mean, if you look at any of the guys on our roster, man, a lot of them don't throw extremely hard. A lot of them aren't 95, 96. Especially in the rotation. But man, they just know how to pitch. They just know how to get the job done. And I wouldn't want to face any of our starters, Van Skyke, Timmy Brown. I wouldn't want to face any of those guys. But I'm just glad they were on my team.
Okay. The weirdest thing a fan has ever asked you to sign?
Oh my God, keep it PG.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. What kind of audience are we looking at here? Is this we got to keep it PG or what's going on?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, one guy, this girl wanted him to sign private areas, but when he was on, he told
I'm not talking about that. I'm not a switch hitter, Frank. You know what I mean? Do what you do, but I hit from one side of the plate. The weirdest thing that anybody asked me to sign. Whew, that's a good question, man. I like signing autographs personally. You talk about autographs. I talked to my buddy about this the other day. But as far as anything weird, I don't think I've had really anything weird. That I can talk about on the air, I guess.
Oh my Lord.
We had some weird ones like babies and their dogs and weird stuff like that. I mean,
maybe if I get a promotion or something like that, and I get a little bit better, maybe it'll get weirder. Been some strange people, that I've talked to, but like I said, I enjoy. My dad always, taught me to enjoy the situation that you're in, and especially going up to Wichita. It was the first time that I was, on a home team this whole year because, when I was in the United League, it was a travel team. So we didn't have any fans, and we were always traveling. We had to really provide our own transportation, which was pretty interesting. But, it's so cool to be able to, I like playing catch, with kids in the stands. I think that's a pretty cool thing to do. But it just keeps you grounded. You got to have balance when you play this game, and that's one thing I like to do. I like signing autographs, and it is what it is because the kids don't care if you go 0 for 4. If you go 4 for 4, it doesn't matter to them. So when I can sign, right, I'll sign.
With that said, what is the craziest thing a fan has ever said to you, good or bad?
I've had several fathers, say, you need to meet my daughter. That's happened. That's happened a few times.
Have you ever taken
what
any
I
of them?
need to do, I need to join a baseball team to have people set me up. This is my guide to not being single.
Wait a minute, though. Was that a good thing or a bad thing? Like, you should meet my daughter like she can hit better than you? Or should she be my daughter because she's good looking and you should date her? What is it?
Now that I think about it, Frank, I don't know if those dads were saying that their daughters can hit better than me. Maybe I had a bad game or something. I don't know, but I think it was more so for I guess maybe I had a good game and they were just like, hey, you should meet my daughter. Take her out on a date. I don't know. It is what it is, but I just kind of laugh it off and I hope they were joking, but I guess you never know these days.
I think Claudia was asking you to take her out on a date, if I'm not mistaken, right there.
No, Claudia's she's on another level than me. Obviously. I wouldn't know what to do. I'd be too nervous. You know what I mean?
No, don't please don't give her a bigger head than she already has, please.
You? What have I ever?
I'm joking. But
don't worry, Frank hates me for the last month or so. So
here we go. All right. What was the biggest prank you played on a teammate?
Oh man, I don't really do pranks because I don't like to get involved in that war. I like to just watch the pranks happen. You know what I mean? But I don't really do a whole lot of pranks, man. I don't know, man. I love hanging out with my teammates.
Have you ever been pranked?
I should say yes, because if I say no, then, when I go back to, whatever team I'm on, I'm definitely going to get pranked. But I don't really think so. No, I don't think so.
So, what's the biggest prank you ever seen?
Oh, geez. Frank, you're killing me with these questions, man. You put me on the spot. I gotta think. What are some of the ones that y'all have heard? I've seen some guys. Don't take it the wrong way. I just, when I'm playing ball, I'm playing ball. You know what I mean? I got a routine that I do, and like to stay locked in. Obviously, you want to have a good time and stuff like that, but I try to stay pretty focused, and because especially if we're not winning, you know what I mean? We didn't really have that problem in Wichita because we won a lot. But the last thing I feel like as a fan, if you're not on a winning team and, it comes out that you guys are playing pranks and stuff like that, that's, as a fan, I probably wouldn't be too happy about that. But, that's why everything is a lot easier when you win. So that's kind of my take on that one right there.
Well, 73 and 27, I think, is a pretty good winning season.
Yeah, it was a special year, man. I mean, it was, I was just happy to be a part of it.
A lot of pranking going on right there. A lot of pranking.
We had a good time, man. I mean, that's the thing about everybody in Wichita, man, is Kevin Hooper, who's our manager, is obviously a really well-known guy and playing the big leagues, and Hoop is, probably every bit as tall as Pedroia. So being able to go play for a guy that made it, that made it to the big leagues, that, was however tall he is, 5'6", 5'7", 160 pounds or whatever. He's just such a great leader, and I really just try to watch what he does and learn from him, and he's just a guy that you look up to, and he keeps us. He's one of the best coaches I've ever played for, no doubt about it.
All right, then. With that said, without saying what the biggest prank was, who was the one guy on the team that you wouldn't want to fall asleep with him in the same room? Because most likely you're going to wake up with something, shaved or Sharpie on your forehead. Who was the guy that you wouldn't trust in falling asleep in the same room with him?
Oh man, I would say Alex Hinshaw probably. He's a lefty, man. Us lefties are a little bit weird now. Especially lefties out of the bullpen. The bullpen guys, they're their own group down there. But I think Alex Hinshaw would probably be a guy that I wouldn't want to mess with him, because he's a pretty cool guy. But at the same time, man, he knows what it's like to be in the big leagues, and I'm sure that he wouldn't hesitate to pull a pretty crazy prank if he had the chance.
Okay, great. That's an awesome one. What was the most embarrassing thing that ever happened to you on the baseball field?
I remember when I was in college. I remember. I think something like this happened. It may have been for the Marlins. I don't know if it was against them or if it was one of them. But I was playing left field, and it was at a showcase. Coincidentally, the showcase that Elon actually saw me at when I was at Jefferson College. We were playing at Austin P University in a showcase, and ball was hit, and I came in and fielded it and got it in my hand and went back to throw the guy out the plate, and as I was cocking my arm back, the ball flew out, and then of course you look dumb for one, you dropped the ball, but it sailed like, I don't know, I must have had some good arm action on that one, because that sucker sailed behind me. And then to make it worse, I went back to get it, and I did it again. So that was not too good. My coach wasn't too happy about that one. But probably the most embarrassing moment.
Okay. What about the greatest moment on the field?
The greatest moment, man. Winning the conference championship, and Elon was cool. Obviously, winning the championship here at Wichita, but probably the greatest moment was, when I was able to get on SportsCenter top 10. That was pretty special, man. That was a pretty cool moment, and fortunately, it was in a big spot. It was in a big game for us, and was able to make a nice play. And after the game, they, the Southern Conference, officials came down and they're like, hey, we got to clear with you. We're going to send that play into ESPN, and we got to ask you. And I was like, let me think about that one. Yeah, you guys can go ahead and do that. So it was pretty cool, because my family was there, my parents were there, and we actually went to eat, and we saw the play on one of the TVs, that was up in the restaurant. So we were like, we thought that was a pretty cool moment.
Well, I'm going to ask you a couple more, then I'll see if Chris has anything, and then we'll take it to Claudia's segment, her special segment that she does. These are fast, like rapid fire, so usually 1 or 2 word answers. Number 1 song on your iPod right now?
Bad Company by Five Finger Death Punch.
Okay. Favorite food, no matter how many times it's put in front of you a day, you're going to eat it?
Steak.
Okay. Favorite off-field activity that we could discuss on the air?
Oh, going to the gym. Love it. Love going to the gym.
Yeah. Favorite vacation spot? If you could take one vacation, where you going?
Well, Frank, I'd probably tell you it's the Bahamas, but I didn't get to go. So, other than that, favorite vacation spot, man, Colorado's pretty sweet. I like that. But really, I went to Fort Lauderdale in February, and I really like that. And obviously, I don't know. I mean, I know you guys are from that Miami area. I don't know if I can handle that. A little bit too crazy for me, but anywhere on the beach or in the mountains, just like anybody else, that'd be nice.
Claudia's from Miami. I'm in Fort Lauderdale, so.
Okay, we'll see either one. I know Claudia's in Miami. I know that.
I know Claudia what?
I said I know you're in Miami.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. He said he knows you're crazy. Okay, moving on.
In a good way.
So, favorite baseball movie all time?
Ooh, that's a good one. Little Big League. I don't know why. I love Little Big League. It's such a great movie. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
Now,
but growing up, it was The Sandlot. But Little Big League now, I think it's hilarious.
Favorite movie all time that if it's on TV, you're gonna sit down and watch it?
Oh man, you're gonna kill me for this one. Man, I don't know if I can admit this, but I gotta admit it. The Princess Bride. Rob Reiner directed it. Cary Elves was in it. I think it came out in 1991, something like that, 92. But yeah, The Princess Bride, man. So don't tell anybody though. Don't tell anybody that I said that.
7,000 people are gonna hear that.
Yeah, that's cool. So. No problem. At least I'm honest.
I don't even know that movie. You gotta check this out. I don't even know that. Favorite singer or group?
Favorite singer?
Yeah, or group.
Oh, favorite group?
Or singer. If it's a singer, it's a singer. If it's like Metallica, it could be Metallica. Whatever it is.
I would probably say. I'd probably say Eminem. You know what I mean? Because he's the best ever. But, if I was joking around, I'd definitely say One Direction because I'm pretty sure Claudia is a big fan of One Direction.
Oh,
is that
God,
right?
Please don't. Oh, man.
There you go. Thank you so much.
Oh, that's it.
You're welcome.
Talking about One
Claudia,
Direction questions coming up for you, Jake.
Yeah, in her segment.
I don't know anything about him. I know nothing about him.
Don't worry. I'll help you out. It's a new little part of the segment that I added from my board.
She's got a 35-minute segment. 30 minutes of it's going to be One Direction now.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Can we amend that section because
never not. And the listeners will tweet this. You guys know that I only ask one question about One Direction.
Oh,
okay.
That's a lie.
But speaking of the listeners tweeting, I'm actually sitting here on Twitter, so they need to start sending some questions in because I'm ready to answer, or they need to start calling in. I like to.
You want them to send Twitter questions to you because they usually send it to the show.
Well, they can send it to the show, but either way, either have them call in or whatever. But
we have one. I could ask it now. I was going to wait till the segment's over, but do you like to hunt? Is the question.
I don't. I mean, I have before, but I'm gonna be honest with you. My grandfather had a ranch when I was growing up, but I don't hunt, man. I know it's crazy to hear somebody from Texas, but I don't know, man. I like animals. You know what I mean? I don't like killing them. So, yeah, not a big. I'll eat some venison now. I will say that. A little jerky.
So you're just like Claudia then. Claudia, she thinks the food gets on her plate magically. She doesn't think anybody kills it.
No. Stop trying to make me seem like I'm some weirdo this whole show. I never said that. I said I would rather not kill an animal. I would rather not know what happens. I know obviously comes from an animal. I'd just rather not know or do it myself or hunting for recreational purposes. I think that's a waste of time. And even when people say, oh, but we hunt to eat, go to the supermarket. Why are you hunting a deer that has nothing? I don't know. It's just feel weird.
Oh my Lord. Okay.
Yeah, if you were hunting hogs, you can hunt hogs down here in Texas. That's cool because they're way overpopulated. So I can understand that. But other than that, no, I don't. Not a big hunter, man.
We got 2 more Twitter questions. I'll get to those after I finish this up. What was the best concert you ever been to?
You're gonna kill me on this one. I've never been to a concert. Never been.
Really? Never? Not one concert?
I haven't. I had tickets to Rascal Flatts when they came here a few years ago, but I sold the tickets in front of the gate because the dude gave me a bunch of money for them. So that would have been my first concert, but I've never been to a concert. So, oops.
Okay. We know what Claudia's best concert was, but we'll skip that.
Yeah.
What section? And I went to a private performance. Thank you very much. And I was super close to your style. So let's not get into that.
All right. The story. This show's not about you. It's about Jake. First.
It's never about me.
Oh please! It's always about you. First place you love to go to when you get back home.
First place that I love to go to when I get back home?
Yeah.
Besides home?
Yeah, besides the actual house, yeah.
Oh, I love going to my grandparents' house. My grandparents, I'm real close with them, so I love going there. But as far as going out, I go to Dallas. We have Uptown here. We have the shops at Legacy. But my favorite restaurant is actually here, in Allen, Texas, which is a little bit north of Dallas. It's Jalapenos Mexican Grill. So I love Mexican food. But we get authentic Mexican food down here in Texas, so it's nice. It's nice. So yeah, I like to go out though. I mean, anywhere where it's popping, man. I like to hang out for sure.
Nice. Well, one of those tweets I'll ask it now is: are you one of those Texans that have that flag in front of your house?
I don't have the flag, but I am proud to be a Texan, just like pretty much every other Texan. I mean, it's the greatest country in the world. You know what I mean? So if
it's
I know, I think it. Yeah. It was at one time, but it's funny because people make fun of Texans for being real proud of their state or whatever, but I think it's because when we were growing up and things times may have changed now, but Texas history, you took that every year, in elementary school, in middle school, in high school, you had to take some sort of Texas history class. So I blame the educational system for making us real proud of our state. But no, I love Texas. I mean, I'll probably live I stay here in the off season, obviously, and I love it here, no doubt about it. But no, I don't have a flag in front of my house. Nope, I don't do that.
For the people that haven't drove through, I've been to Texas many times. For people that haven't been to Texas, if you drive through anywhere in Texas, you could drive to Odessa, you could drive through, Dallas, Houston. 90% of the houses have a Texas flag in front. And you drive through Florida, you'll never see a Florida flag in front of anybody's house. So just throwing it, that's the difference. And if I'm not mistaken, isn't Texas allowed to disembark from the United States and become their own country? If I'm not mistaken,
yeah, I'm pretty sure we could, and I know that we'd be, I think in the top 20 for production because we got everything we need here. I mean, we have oil, we got the Gulf of Mexico, we got we got farmland obviously. So yeah, I mean I think that's true. But I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't want to break off from the U.S. because it's a pretty awesome country. I think so. I'm gonna I'm cool with how it is right now.
Yeah, but all right. So with that said, the best part of the off season in your mind?
Best part of the off season, getting stronger. Honestly, I think it's a time for, for me, it's there's no reason why you can't improve every year, because we do have, guys play winter ball. Guys go down to Mexico, Venezuela, places like that to play winter ball, to get at bats. But in my opinion, especially being a younger guy, there's no reason why you can't use the off season to significantly improve your game. But yeah, I love. I mean, obviously, getting to sleep a little bit later is always nice, but just getting on that routine, to where you try to make gains, in the weight room and try to get, become the best athlete you can. I feel like that's my favorite part, is just getting better.
What was your favorite ballpark you played in this year?
Ooh, favorite ballpark? I'd say Winnipeg. Winnipeg was pretty awesome. The Winnipeg Gold Eyes, they had 7,000-8,000 people there, and it was just real nice real nice place, and they really love their baseball up there. So I wouldn't have never guessed that, because obviously Canada's obviously a big hockey country and stuff like that, but Winnipeg, they show up to the games, man. It was pretty awesome, pretty special.
Nice. All right, last one. When do you start itching for the baseball season to start? How long does it take when the off season starts for you to want to get back in it again?
About 2 weeks. 2 weeks is how long it takes.
Nice. Oh, actually, there was someone that just tweeted in. Do you have any pregame rituals?
Oh, pregame rituals. That's a good one. I don't really consider them rituals, but I would say I like to get ready pretty early. Usually, first pitch is at 7:05. I'll get on the field about 6:30. Start going through my routine. But as far as superstitions and stuff like that, really don't have a whole lot of those. I don't step on the line. I try not to step on the line, but I feel like every player does that. And A-Rod taught us a few years ago that you don't ever cross over the mound for a pitcher. I think Dallas Braden let A-Rod know about that, if you guys remember that incident. But I'm real big. Honestly, I'm real big on the unwritten rules of the game. I think the game needs to be respected. I don't know how what direction the game is headed in, but I think with any baseball fan, this America's pastime for a reason, and being a guy that tries to respect the game, respect the other players, and obviously it's you're competing, so things get heated at times, and that's part of it. But I'm just a real big guy on making sure that the game is played the right way. That's how my dad taught me to play it, and that's how my coaches in college taught me to play it in high school. And seeing guys that don't respect the game is a little bit different, but at the same time they got there for a reason. It's because they have a good skill set, and if they produce, then it is what it is. So I think respecting the game is a real important key.
Someone tweeted in, do you like to fish?
Do I like to fish? Yeah, I like to fish. When I was in Fort Lauderdale, I went deep sea fishing, and that was pretty awesome. I will say that. So, but I feel like once you go deep sea fishing and catch a 9-pound gold hammerhead, which we caught, going to the lake just doesn't seem as fun anymore. So, I'm more of an adventure guy, man. People like to fish to relax and stuff like that, and that's cool, and I totally get that. But it's kind of gets a little boring to me, so I'd rather go for the big fish in the ocean.
Okay, now this is a Facebook one. This is actually a good one. I never had this question before. This is the first time I've asked this question ever on the show. Has a player ever cooked something that was so bad that when he brought in food again, you guys just didn't want to touch it? Has that ever happened?
Okay, so repeat the question. If a player cooks food?
Yeah, a player on your team brought in food one day and it was terrible, and then and you guys didn't say anything to him, and then he brought in food again a week later or so. You guys all looked at it we're not touching that. Has that ever happened? This is an actual question someone's asking, and I never heard this on the show before, so I'm going to ask it.
Well, I appreciate the question, but no, I don't think that's ever happened. I hope it doesn't. But no players' wives or girlfriend ever. Whoever submitted that question needs to call in. That's what needs to happen. Whoever submitted that question, call into the show so you can ask me a question that makes sense. All right, that's what I'm talking about.
That was it. I never, it was the first time I ever had that question, so it's kind of wanted to ask it, because usually we get the questions I'd always ask all the time. All right, so I'm done with my rapid fire. Claudia's segment's up next, but Chris, you have anything on a lighter note that you want to add to this, or that we didn't touch?
Yeah. No, on the lighter note, I had one that I wanted to ask Jake about. They tell me, first of all, I enjoyed really you subconsciously making your case there for Texas, being able to be their own, country if they needed to, but that you wanted to go ahead and stay a part of America. I just want to thank you for that. But also, Frank, I noticed down there in Key West, down there in your area now, the second to Texas on the flag is Key West, right? They have their comp flags down there everywhere, flying like their own country, right?
You might have to ask Claudia that. She goes to the Keys a lot. I don't go to the Keys a lot.
Claudia?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do, but I mean, not that it's something like Texans do.
Not the same way, right? Yeah, but I think they're second to them, no doubt. So, hey, on a lighter note, Jake, as I'm looking into Indy ball more than I ever have, looking into this story, one thing that keeps coming up is the hecklers. Do they have like a special kind of heckler in Indy ball, or what? What's the story on that?
I mean, I don't really know if it's a special kind of heckler, because I really haven't, seen what the hecklers are like in affiliated ball, so I wouldn't really have a way to compare it. But the fans down in Laredo are pretty good. They there's obviously a lot of people from Mexico. They love their baseball, and they're pretty vocal. They get pretty vocal. And the fans, when we played against Amarillo, that was pretty cool. But really, there was more hecklers in college, to be honest with you. There's a lot more hecklers in college, that's for sure.
So a lot of the time for me, the hecklers really get on my nerves, especially when it's the super drunk guys that are just yelling out stupid stuff. But like the really clever ones with the great delivery, that are on time and they put it at the right place. I love those guys. Can you got some best heckles filed back that you remember that were the funniest one?
Yeah, I think you got to give credit where credit's due, no doubt about it. I mean, so if you got a heckler that knows his stuff, he's keeping it clean. I definitely, acknowledge those guys, give them a little smile, because it takes a lot of skill to be a good heckler now. So the funny thing is especially when we went to Clemson, you guys were talking about video games earlier. So the hecklers that were out at Clemson were pretty funny, and they were in left field. I was playing left field, and they actually. They liked me, you know what I mean, because I started talking to them and, interacting with them, and they're like, oh, this guy's pretty cool. So they actually came to the restaurant that our team went to after the game and, had me sign some stuff. So that was pretty cool. But, anybody that's at the game, like I said, as long as it's clean, you know what I mean, it's not vulgar. I mean, that's part of the game, man. It's pretty fun. Now, playing at Yankee Stadium, some place like that, maybe a little bit, take a little bit to get used to, but hey, that's all part of the game. It's all part of the fun.
Right. Nothing stands out as the most clever, most funny to you, or anything off the top of your head that you just remember right away?
No, I don't know. I mean, I had the people in the radio because I wear my socks up sometimes, especially earlier in my career, but. The Little League World Series was going on, so I pulled my socks up. They said, you're at the wrong field, man. You're supposed to be playing at the Little League World Series. So they just kept wearing me out about that. So, then I got a base hit. They started cheering for me, so that was pretty cool.
That's what I'm talking about. That's funny stuff. Yeah, well, that's what I had, Frank, and I'm anxious to hear Claudia's segment here with Jake.
All right, so right before I kick it to Claudia segment. You said you played for the Aviators, correct? At one time.
Yeah, that was when my dad was diagnosed. So yeah, I was there for 3 or 4 games.
You know that they have a tribute to the Rockford Peaches, the Aviators.
I remember the movie.
Yeah, for a league of their own, the Peaches, the Rockford Peaches, which I guess was the team that Tom Hanks was managing, and well, it wasn't Tom Hanks, but it was Jimmy Dugan. But I mean, whatever. They actually played there, and they actually wear that uniform, not the skirts, but the uniform that looks like I guess like it's a game or two or something like that. I'm not sure. We have
I definitely wasn't there long enough to find out. So I mean, I guess if they do that, I wouldn't know.
Yeah, we had, I think, Grimm. Claudia Grimm. What's his first name again? Nick Grimm. Yeah, he's on the Aviators. He has a picture in that uniform. Again, they're wearing pants, not skirts. Just throwing it out there. But yeah, that's a pretty cool. That's a pretty good. That aviator's uniform is actually really nice. I like that uniform.
Yeah, the orange and blue is pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely with the plane and everything. I'm going to kick it over to Claudia. Let her do a famous 7 minutes in heaven with you and her One Direction questions, and let her take it.
All right, Jake,
I hope she's ready for this. That's all I got to say. I hope she's ready.
Who, you or me?
All right. I'm ready, so go ahead. Fire away.
This is just basically a segment divided into little segments. Some are fan submitted, some are curveballs thrown by me. So the first segment that we're going to start is, who would you rather get stuck in a room with? And I'm going to give you a few choices. You have 30 seconds to answer or less. So are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Who would you rather get stuck in a room with? NSYNC or Backstreet Boys?
NSYNC.
Justin Bieber or Harry Styles?
Who's the second guy? Definitely not Bieber, so whoever the other dude is, yeah.
Taylor Swift or Selena Gomez?
Oh, Taylor Swift. You don't have to finish it. Keep going.
Justin Verlander or Kate Upton?
Well, considering everything that came out about them two, I would rather. I'm just gonna say Verlander. Yeah, I'm gonna say Verlander. I'd rather be in the room with him.
All right, Lindsay Lohan or Miley Cyrus?
Lindsay Lohan, like pre-Crazy Days or now?
We're talking present day.
Just present day. I guess Miley Cyrus. Definitely not Lindsay Lohan.
Britney Spears or Christina Aguilera?
Christina. Oh, for sure. That was actually one of my first CDs that my parents got me. Genie in a Bottle. I don't know why, but that and NSYNC. Yeah, that's I rocked out on my boombox with that. That was good stuff.
Babe Ruth or Nolan Ryan?
I would say Nolan for sure.
Liam Hemsworth or Chris Hemsworth?
I don't even know who those people are, honestly.
Okay. Well, one of them is Thor. The actor.
One of them who?
Let's just skip it. They're both actors. One of them dated Miley Cyrus.
I passed.
Okay. All right, Channing Tatum or Jonah Hill?
Channing Tatum. Channing Tatum's hilarious. Jonah Hill's funny too, but Channing Tatum, I think he's real funny.
All right, Brad Pitt or Angelina Jolie?
Oh my gosh. I would not want to be in a room with Angelina Jolie for fear of Brad Pitt, so I'm gonna say Brad Pitt.
Leonardo DiCaprio or Matthew McConaughey?
Oh, Leo, no doubt about it. Stud. Freaking stud.
Kim Kardashian or Kanye West, or Kanye West because he counts for two?
No, Kim Kardashian. No doubt. I mean, yeah, Kim Kardashian, for sure.
LeBron James or Kobe Bryant?
Oh, I would say, you know what? I'm gonna say Kobe. I love the way Kobe competes. I know that he's having a down year this year, or he doesn't have a whole lot of guys around him, but I love the way he competes. Regardless of what anybody says about him, but obviously most people probably say LeBron, but Kobe's just he's such a competitor. I'd want to find out what goes through his mind every day.
All right, Tom Hanks or Al Pacino?
Ooh, Al Pacino. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, I'd say Pacino for sure.
And last but not least, Ben Affleck or Matt Damon?
Oh, Ben Affleck. Just because he's about to be Batman, so I got to make sure he's ready for that role. He's got to be getting in the gym. Christian Bale was pretty good, but Affleck. I definitely want to talk to Affleck. Just if Matt Damon was. If he was Jason Bourne, I'd want to talk to Matt Damon. But he's got to be Jason Bourne if we're in the room.
All right. Now, the next segment is a bunch of funny little questions, or not so funny. Do you believe in ghosts?
Yeah, I believe in ghosts, for sure.
Why?
Well, dadgummit, I thought this was just a simple question. But
tell us a story. What makes you believe in ghosts?
There's too much evidence that leads that says that they exist. I feel like, so I like ghost hunters and stuff like that. I think it's a pretty cool show. So yeah, I believe in ghosts, of course.
Okay, so in that note, what would be your reaction if you wake up and there's a ghost standing right in front of you?
My reaction, kind of one of those deals where I'd have to be there, and whatever naturally happened, that's what naturally happened. Or in this case, supernaturally happened. You like that pun? That was good. I had that planned out. Keep going.
Do you believe in aliens?
Say that again?
Do you believe in aliens?
I like Mel Gibson and Signs, so that was pretty cool. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's something else out there. I can't believe that we're the only ones in this universe. I think that there's something else out there, probably, I guess.
Okay. In your expert opinion, what is the worst show on television right now?
I don't even know what's on TV right now. The worst show, Carl, you're probably going to hate if I say this, but I'd like the Kim Kardashian show, Keeping Up with the Kardashians. I think that's just full of drama. Like, I don't even mess with that. I got a drama-free zone. I got a drama-free life, But one of my friends was watching it the other day, and I watched like 5 minutes of it, and it about drove me insane. So I'd probably say that one. But like I said, if I had to pick her to be in a room, that I would still pick her, no doubt, regardless of the show.
All right. What is number one on your bucket list?
Number one on my bucket list, to make it to the big leagues. Get to the big leagues, win a World Series.
Okay, this is a question that we ask a lot of the players, and we get the same answer, so let's see if you're able to be one of the different ones. If you could switch genders for a day because you absolutely had to be a girl for 24 hours, how will you spend your day as a girl?
I know how I do it.
Frank, I don't even know if I should answer this question. So the question is, if I had to spend 24 hours being a girl, what would I do?
Like, what will you do during your 24 hours as a girl?
I know what I do.
I don't even like.
Frank.
What kind of question is that? Seriously.
What if they
Tell me what do most of your players say? Yeah, I mean, you're getting choked up over there. What do most of your players say? Because I don't even.
Don't worry about what the other players say. What will you do?
I don't know. I mean, shoot. I just, I'd probably dress up, real hot. You know what I'm saying? Like, just just looking good. Just walk around on the beach or something, and just make all. I don't know. I don't know what the heck I do. That's I've never asked that question before, but
that's
what
That's Claudia's day.
I know. Yeah, Claudia. Hey, Claudia. I've just seen the pictures, but hey, Claudia can do that. That's great. She can do that whenever the heck she wants, for sure.
Oh man.
I'm gonna take this as a compliment from both of you. So thank you. Okay, if you could defy the law of nature and breed two animals together to create a new species of animal, what are you breeding and what are you naming the new species?
Oh my God.
Told you weren't ready.
What? I mean, who asks these kind of questions? I mean,
I do.
Chris, are you still there, man? You gotta help me out here, dude. I don't even know how to answer this question.
No, you can't ask for help. Just don't help him.
I'm enjoying what he's struggling with here. That he had no problem with instinct, but he's having trouble with what he do as a woman for a day.
Because I don't. And seriously, God dang, what kind of animals would I breed if I was an animal breeder?
You got 30 seconds. You got 30 seconds. Let's go.
I don't know. I would breed a buffalo with a spider and make like them spiders like they got on like Harry Potter. That'd be pretty awesome.
Okay. What are you naming it?
A spuffalo.
Okay. If you were a superhero for a day, which superhero will you be?
Oh, I would definitely be Superman, no doubt. No doubt.
Okay. What makes you nervous?
You make me nervous, Claudia.
These questions.
Great answer.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate that.
All right. As you guys know, I'm just going to go ahead and move on. As you guys know, President Obama has been under fire for using too many executive actions. But what will you do as a president if you had to absolutely make one?
What would I do as the president if I had to do what? What was the second part?
An executive action that you have to, as soon as you take office, you have to pass a law, and you can't get Congress to agree, so you have to take an executive action.
Now we're getting into politics now, and that's really not my forte, but I would definitely say, I would not do the taxes that are structured. I think that if you work hard for what you get. If you make more, you shouldn't have to pay more. I don't think that's right. I'm sure the guys in the big leagues are thinking the same thing, but I feel like it should be pretty fair across the board. The people that work the hardest and make the most money, I feel like they shouldn't have to pay more. So that's probably what I would do. But I'm sure people are going to be calling in like, oh, he's terrible, he's a Republican. Well, I am a Republican. It is what it is. Sorry about it. So there you go.
I'm a Democrat, so
I know this, but like I said, I don't get too much into politics.
Hard to the bone blue. So. Okay, one question for Caroline and for Callie. And it's two girls that I happened to meet about, I want to say a month ago. And they want to know, if you had to absolutely identify with a One Direction member, who would it be? You have Liam, who is the boss, Zayn, the mysterious one, Louis, the funny one, Niall, the chill guy, it's always hungry, or Harry Styles, the heartthrob. Who are you?
Oh, Claudia, you know which one I am. There's no doubt about it. Tell me which one I am.
I don't know. You could be Niall because you're blonde. So.
No. I'm the heartthrob. I'm the heartthrob. I mean, Neil, Zayn, Liam, Harry, Lewis. It is what it is. But yeah, good for them. I like girls. You know what I'm saying? So I would hope that I'd be the heartthrob, but it is what it is, I guess. Good question. That was a good quality question.
Yeah.
And if you could choose, okay, let's say that Hollywood calls you, they want to make a movie about your life, but they want you to cast the actor that's going to play you. Who are you casting and why?
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. I'd definitely say Leonardo DiCaprio, but like in his Titanic days, Yeah, I'd say Leo. Does that count? That counts, right? I can do that.
Yeah,
right?
Of course.
No, I can't do that.
Somebody here wants to know what is the one thing you absolutely are terrible at? Something you suck at.
Oh my! We're gonna need a little bit longer. We're gonna be a little. What am I not good at? I am. Oh my gosh. That's a great question. Now I'm drawing a blank. Like, we have this thing in Dallas called Topgolf, and it's like this. It's like a driving range, but like all the balls have like little microchips in them, and you hit them, and you can go for targets and whatever. And I literally this really happened. I can't even make this up. I hit a ball and it went straight up. It hit the roof, and then it nailed the person in the pod next to me. So like, terrible. Like I never even played again, just because I know all the pitches are into that golf stuff, but man, for whatever reason, I just can't do it. I'm terrible at it.
Okay, so we'll take that. Okay, and two more questions here, Jake. If you and Taylor Swift were to break up, let's say you're dating, what's the title of the song that she would write about you?
What was the song that she would write about me? She would copy a song from like NSYNC, and it would be called "I Want You Back." So that's what she would say.
All right, and then one more thing here. What is the soundtrack to your life? What song is the soundtrack that you say, this describes my life?
Lose Yourself by Eminem. That's what I would say.
All right,
Eminem.
Thank you so much, Jake, and that was 7 minutes, so back to you, Frank.
Eminem was the first concert I ever went to.
Oh, my God.
Yep. First concert I ever went to. I was 22 years old, and it was his first album he ever had out. And I had no idea who this guy was. And I went to, a girl made me go there. So I went with her, and it was the worst thing ever. Well, not that he was bad. It wasn't the right thing. I guess because he was rap, so they had the people that like rap. But then he was also on his first album a little hard. So he had like the people that wanted to mosh a little. And when you put them in the same room, good things don't happen. So it was one of those things. Well, and he was also an hour and a half late, and no one liked that either. But it's not about me. Jake,
hey, Frank,
questions for you.
Frank, is there somebody at the studio named Steve? Is there somebody named Steve?
Here?
Yeah.
No, why?
Okay, just a random question. Sorry. Keep going. I'm with you.
Why? Why do you need to?
Well, there was somebody that texted me that was trying to call in, and it's Ryan Powell. So I don't know if he's in the queue to talk or whatever, but he just said he wanted to call in. So
you can call in.
All right.
347-539-5207. He'll pop up in our queue.
All right. Okay. Well, he just said he wanted to call in, so I want people to call in. I want to hear some outside listeners' takes.
When there's players on, we don't get callers for some reason. They text, they tweet, they Facebook. It's like they're nervous to talk to players, I guess. When there's no players on, that's when we get callers. I don't know. That's how it happens.
I think they're more nervous to talk to Claudia, probably. That's probably what it is, Frank.
No.
Scares everybody.
What do you mean? What?
She don't scare me. I'm just saying, that might be what it is. Probably not the players. I think you got some real good players on here, but you never know.
Intimidation. Intimidated.
I'm not intimidated.
No. Claudia's the only girl I know that shows up to spring training when we're in the backfields where there's all dirt roads, walking in high heels.
It's called a skill.
Jake, what do you want me to say right now? No matter what I say, it's going to be bad. So,
ask her if she owns anything but high heels.
Yes, I do.
Listen,
Frank,
Frank, listen, Claudia, hold on. Frank, you got to understand, I don't know if you ever tried to walk in heels, but dude,
no.
Go ahead and try it because it ain't easy.
Have you tried to walk in heels, Jake?
Yeah, I've tried to walk in heels because I wanted to understand, I think my mom made me do it or something. I don't even.
He had to be a woman for 24 hours. You just asked him that.
Listen, you try to walk in heels, and if she can do that on a dirt road, you got to give her a round of applause because that ain't easy. I got to give props. I got to give props for girls that wear heels, man, especially on a day-to-day basis because that's a skill, man, no doubt.
I think the only time I've seen Claudia not wear heels was at the Christmas party because she had to wear bowling shoes. That's the only reason.
And I just saw up in heels.
Yeah, the only time ever. All right, let me ask you 3 questions.
Next time I see you, I'm just gonna go ahead and just wear Nikes and act all tomboyish and.
Well, this spring training, maybe this spring training when we're going to all the fields and we're back there with the players and everything.
Oh, no, there's something
maybe.
cold. There's something cold.
But during the other times when we're doing the show at each stadium and we're in the studio, we're in the booth at the stadiums, you can wear high heels. I don't care. There's elevators. It's all right. Let me ask you these three questions here. And one of them is, what are you working on right now, baseball-wise, to get yourself ready for next year?
That's a great question. Just trying to get better with my approach. Offensively, for me, I just try to embrace my tools a little bit more, be able to put the ball on the ground, especially with two strikes. So the main thing that I've been working on is my two-strike approach, and I know that doesn't really, I don't know, it may not resonate with people, but two-strike approach is huge, and if I'm able to, if I'm able to get a few more knocks, with a better two-strike approach, then that's really going to help. My goal is to get on base. So, for me, two-strike approach and just approach in general is something that I've been really focusing on in the cage. And then obviously, running wise, obviously trying to get faster, just trying to be the best athlete that I can. I'm about a 202 right now weight wise, which is good. So I feel like I'm in the best shape of my life, though, that's for sure. And lots of Friday nights and Saturday nights. Chris will tell you, man, lots of Friday nights and Saturday nights at the gym. He would try to give me a call, and I'll be working out. So I just want to try to get as good as I possibly can.
Nice. Two more. What is one thing you want people to say about Jake?
As far as what goes, be more specific.
Just overall, just one thing you would love to hear come out of people's mouths after they talk to you, meet you, watch you play, whatever. The one thing you would love to hear everybody say about you.
He's humble, humility, respectful, classy. Those are really things that are important to me. And I think in life it's really easy to, if you're mad or if you're frustrated or if you don't, it's really easy to blow people off. And I get it. You can't talk to everybody, but just somebody that people can identify with, and people listening in, there's probably been a lot of people that have, had their struggles. I mean, I'm sure everybody, even on the show, at some point in your life, you had a lot of struggles, but, for me, I want to be an inspiration, and that's really what the goal's been all along. Obviously to get to the big leagues and to produce there is obviously something that every kid wants to have, but my goal, is to have influence, and I don't know, I always make this analogy, Frank, and I know I'm kind of going off on a tangent here, but I make this analogy. If you got Josh Hamilton, going out and giving, let's say he's giving a sermon or he's giving a speech or whatever at Street A, and you got a pastor going out and giving a speech or a sermon at Street B, where are most people going to go? Most people are going to probably go see Hamilton because, people can identify with that. He's an angel now. At the time he was a Ranger, but to be able to have that influence, to be able to, to give back, I guess, and share my story. That's a big reason why I came on the program today, and that's a big reason why Chris wrote the article. And like I said, he did such a great job on it, spent a considerable amount of time on it, and just somebody that people can identify with, man. Like I said, I've never been the guy, I've never been the guy, that is just so naturally gifted, that I didn't have to work hard. I mean, I had to work extremely hard to get to where I am, and just to be able to compete against these guys that are so good and and so talented. That's what I would want them to say. Just a normal good guy, just a good person. That's the main thing for me.
Mark, before I ask you the last question, we do have a caller, so let's take that caller. Caller, you're on live with Jake. What's your question and your name?
Hey guys, how you doing? This is Ryan Powell of the Baltimore Orioles.
Hey, how you doing?
How you doing, Jake?
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
Doing pretty good. I just thought I'd give you a call and tell you guys got a pretty good ball player on your podcast right now.
Yeah, thanks. Anything you want to say to him?
I'm sorry.
Anything you'd like to say to Jake?
Oh, well, I've actually been kind of busy a little bit. He told me he was going to be on the podcast, and just thought I'd give him a shout out. I mean, Jake's a special ball player. I'm head of independent league scouting for the Orioles, so I'm actually one of the guys taking a look at Jake. He's a special ball player. There's not too many dual threat guys out there, especially in independent ball. He's got a very, very, very quick hands. Stays to the ball well. He's got plus speed on a major league scale. Any given day, he's a low 6'4" running outfielder with a beautiful swing. So I mean, there's not too many guys out there. And they would.
So if I had to ask you, because we have all minor league players on the show, and we have major league players we had on, and we have fans for both listening in. If you could tell both fans listening in, minor league fans and major league fans, if you had to pick somebody out in the Orioles organization that plays just like Jake, so they could reference to, who do you think it would be?
Who would I? Very similar player.
Yes.
That's tough. Well, we do have a guy named. He's not an outfielder. He's a little bit of utility. He can play outfield. Not quite as fast as Jake, but a similar player. And coincidentally, he was another independent league guy named Tucker Nathans. He was actually Can-Am Rookie of the Year in 2000. I think it was 2012. 2012, and he actually is coming off surgery a little bit, but his first year, he hit over 600 in spring training. He hit like 290 on the year, got up to high A. That's where he started this year, and he was coming off a knee surgery out of winter ball. But Jake has the ability to play at very high levels. It's all up to Jake. I mean, he's got the swing, he's got the drive for days. If you told Jake that he couldn't do it, he'd do it just to prove you wrong, kind of thing.
So when are the Orioles giving him a contract?
Oh, I was waiting for that one. Well, there's some things. I mean, just the major league free agent signing period is, it comes first on the year. The meetings just ended. I'm in contact with Jake on a regular basis. We talked a lot throughout the season, ups and downs throughout the year, and I do believe that Jake's going to get his opportunity. I really do. I'd be very surprised if he did.
Is it going to be with the Orioles or no?
We'll see. We will see. We will see.
Frank,
I'm
if
sorry?
I can interrupt here. Ryan, this is Chris Phillips. I interviewed you for the article.
Chris, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good. Hey, a couple of things I wanted to tell you. Frank, I want to reference back to a couple of things you mentioned earlier in the podcast. You asked Jake if anybody had shown any interest, and like Jake, I'm not going to reveal too much here, but I will say that the Orioles, might want to make their move. My article has shown a lot of interest. I've directed.
I'm sure it has. Chris, I'm not surprised at all. And I haven't been able to speak with you. I read the article and it was fantastic. It was a great article, very well written. I can tell you put a lot into it. But Jake's a special player that there's not a lot of opportunity sometimes for independent league guys. Just depending on the scenario, every guy has a different mission statement in it, just like anything in life. But independent ball, it's very hard to it's not very easy to get picked up. And Jake's definitely separating himself.
One thing that I noticed that is funny, I had of course, anytime you put something out that is, astonishing or shocking to people, they want to question it, and I welcome those questions because I know that I did my diligence here. But I did have some people say, I don't know about those run times that you're saying this guy's making here, and you have already said exactly what it was. You're telling me
it's kind of funny, Jake. You remember this when we had you out in Fort Lauderdale. It was pouring rain. I'll never forget that. He's a GPS kid. Like if some guys forget their name or something down at Fort Lauderdale, we just say, the guy that ran a 6.5 flat on two different stopwatches needing a GPS, and it was pouring out. And he was upset that he ran a 6.5 flat.
Nice. So my times are accurate here, is what you're saying, and you have the head of independent scouting for the Baltimore Orioles, you're willing to go on record right here on the podcast and say that the times you read my article that I quoted between you and the other scouts are on the money, right?
Pertaining to a 60-yard dash?
Yes, sir.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Okay, I know they are because I know I got them from guys that were, but I'm telling you.
Yeah, absolutely. Jake's, and and I could see him actually moving a little bit quicker than that.
Right.
But I mean, 6'5" and below, that's moving. I mean, that's moving. So
and that's why they're not. That's why they're not buying it, and I get it. But I want them to hear it from you. I don't want to hear it from the guy sitting behind the computer. You're a baseball scout for a professional baseball team, and well respected, and I want them to hear it from you.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what's going to happen with Jake, but he absolutely deserves a very good opportunity. He does.
Yes, definitely.
But hopefully, something will happen here soon. Chris, are you still there?
Brian, yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
I want to tell you, I really appreciate you contributing your time, giving me your time for the article, as well as Mr. Franchuk and Mr. Carmenucci. I really appreciate you guys' insight.
Those are good guys. They really are. They're a good group of guys. So it's
right.
It's funny. I saw Jake out in the Texas Winter League for the first time, and sitting next to a couple of guys, and I'm like, who is this guy? A couple of times at bat, he was just from the left side, and he was hitting the gaps, left center, right center, simultaneously, just doing very well. And all of a sudden, he stole second base. I'm like, all right, nice. Stole third base, and the guy actually was crazy enough. He tried to swipe home. And
that was a bad decision, is what it was.
He was just he was a Ferrari that didn't have brakes. But it's kind of funny. I said he probably would have been safe. Probably would have been safe if he timed it a little differently. But I would have liked to have seen that. But I knew then that Jake had some tools.
It would have been the best decision he'd ever made if he'd have made it in, though, right?
Absolutely. And the greatest thing is he said, I see. I knew it. I knew I was right.
Right.
Nice.
Well, guys, I'll let you guys get back to your stuff. I just wanted to call in. Jake told me to be on. I just wanted to tip my hat a little bit. So I'll let you guys get back to your stuff, and we'll talk soon. Steve, give me.
Thank you so much for your call.
Yeah, give me a call, Jake. We'll talk soon. All right, guys.
All right. Yeah. All right. See you, Ryan. Thanks, man.
No problem, Jake. Bye-bye.
All right. And one other question. We have about 2 minutes left, so I'll ask you one more question. What's next for Jake?
I'm gonna go get some dinner. Is what's next. I'm starving. Sitting by this dang phone for the last 2 hours. I'm hungry. No. I would say what's next is the California Winter League. I'll be out in the California Winter League, next month. I think I fly out there January the 18th. I'll be out there for about 3 weeks, and then just trying to get out there and get try to work on some things, get some at bats. But as of right now, I'm a Wichita Wingnut, and looking forward to getting back and defending that championship. And if something else happens, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But that's what's next.
Nice. All right, Jake. I really appreciate you coming on today, giving us your time. Also, I'm going to say something, and I mean it. I'm going to see you at a minor league stadium this year. Don't worry about it.
All right. That sounds good, man. I appreciate that.
All right, guys. Say goodbye to Jake.
All right, Jake. It was great to have you on. Great catching up, and wish you the best, man.
All right, thanks, Claudia. I appreciate that.
Hey, Jake, looking forward to it. I'm going to go ahead with Frank and tell you that I believe we're going to see you in a minor league stadium. The feedback I'm getting has been wonderful. And, again, I'm directing it all over to Jay Alexander Sports. I expect to see something soon, and I think great things are in store for you, and I look forward to it. I'll see you in a minor league stadium this year.
Yeah, hope so, man. Yeah, thanks for everything. I really appreciate you guys having me on. Frank, thanks so much, man. And, really appreciate you guys kind of sharing the story. And hope we put on a good show today. I think we did. I think everybody should be happy with everything that was said today. And, just keep grinding. Keep grinding. That's what I'd have to say.
All right, Jake. Have a great night and happy holidays. And we'll talk to you soon.
Okay. All right, guys. Thank you guys very much. Merry Christmas. We'll see y'all.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
All right. Bye-bye.
Jake Luce, definitely going to be a minor league player this year. No doubt in my mind. You heard it from scouts. You see his numbers. You see what type of player he can be. Scrappy, 5'2" player. Deserves that opportunity. Great story behind him. Get behind this guy. Go out and support him. He shows up to minor league stadiums and he's moving up the chains. You heard it here. And that's what we do. We bring you the greats. And he's one of them. And like I said, you look at his story a little here. He has that, all right, I could have maybe been in a different situation if my father didn't get diagnosed with a brain tumor. But then again, he feels he's in a better spot because of that. And that might be it. He might be in a better spot. He might worked on his craft a little better. He got better. He's a better hitter. Okay, that's great. You know what? And I hope everything works out because to me, he deserves to be playing somewhere in AA easily. And I'm looking forward to seeing that and seeing him do that. Definitely. I don't know about you guys, but yeah, I do. I think and I think he will. I think the Baltimore Orioles, and that was one of the teams I knew. Me and Chris talked about it, that they show some interest in him, and I think he's gonna have a contract. I think before spring training starts, when camp starts, he's gonna have a contract, and he's gonna be showing up to a minor league spring training facility. He's gonna wow everybody, and he's gonna end up staying. He's gonna end up moving up the chain. Hopefully, gets that opportunity in the MLB level. That's basically it with that. I do want to say we will not be on the air Friday. It's the day after Christmas. We're going to take our little break. We'll be back at it on Monday. I think it's the 29th, if I'm not mistaken. We have a very special guest all show. This will be the last show that we only have one player on. And it will be Cody Decker, San Diego Padres top prospect, AAA player. He'll be on the show on that Monday. That's going to be fun. He'll be on the show on that Monday. That's going to be fun. Great show lined up there. And just to jump in a little bit after that, that's the last show in December. And then we come on with two people in January. We have Austin Wojcinski, I think I'm saying his name right, from the Angels. And we have Matt Marksberry from the Braves. And that would be the 2nd of January. And if I'm not mistaken, the 3rd of January is going to be Danny Mars. I think it's going to be the 3rd of January. If that might be 3rd of January will be Danny Mars. He's a Boston Red Sox prospect. And then the 2nd, and then I'm losing my stuff here. Then the 5th of January is a very special show. We're actually going to have a player, the first time, in studio with us. Usually the players always call in. This is the first time they'll be in studio with us, and that's Matt Paré. He's a catcher for the San Francisco Giants, and he'll be in studio. And we have, like I said, we have a ton of prospects due to come on the show. I mean, top prospects: Kyle Winthrop, Waldrop, Joe Hudson. We have Noah Syndergaard. We have a ton of guys due on. Kevin Franklin from the Reds. Steve McQuillan from the D-backs. We have Dominic Mangini of the Nationals. Lance McAllister Jr. from the Astros top 5 prospect. Ton of guys due to come on. I can't name everybody, but literally about 50, 60 guys due to come on, all good players. So stay tuned with that. We'll be tweeting them out, who's coming on. Plus, you could always You can always go find that information on our sites and stuff like that. So we have a lot of great shows to bring to you, and we'll keep bringing it to you all the way to April 2nd. April 2nd, we'll probably have 2 guests on. It probably won't be ball players because they're getting into their rosters and stuff like that. I do think I don't want to announce it yet, but it's going to be a very good show April 2nd. There's a big, big name in the Major League that covers minor league baseball. I'm not going to say it until later on, but it's a big name. And then after April 2nd, we'll start our regular segments without the players being on. We'll have live interviews from the stadium, live 7 minutes, and we'll do our normal segments of minor league baseball. It's going to be fun, and so stay tuned to that. Again, guys, next time we talk to you will be Monday, a week from today. With the new new website will be up. Then 27outsbaseball.com. It's going to be better than the website we have now. Go check that out on that Monday. Meet all the new staff and everything, besides the people we still have our same people, but we added some people to it. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Facebook. Follow that Instagram. We're going to be hitting those minor league we're going to be hitting the spring training, all those stadiums in the Florida State League and Arizona. So you'll be able to see a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff that you normally don't get to see, videos and pictures. We have photographers that work actually work for 27 Ounce. I'll be taking some great pictures of all that stuff. So definitely check out that Instagram. We'll put it on the website. We'll put it on Twitter and Facebook, but most of it will be up on Instagram. That's 27 Ounce Podcast _MILB. And check that out. Facebook is 27 Ounce Podcast. And the Twitter is at 27 Ounce Baseball. So go check that out. Again, a lot of great things going on with that. And, of course, we'll be doing our rounds when the show's April on. We'll be doing a show from a ton of different stadiums, not just the studio. We'll bring you great things from there, pictures, sounds, coaches, all that stuff. So a lot of fun things. A lot of fun things coming up. You know we're the home for MILB baseball, and we're going to be doing a lot of other things, so stay tuned. We're going to be giving away stuff next show. We're giving away some signed autograph balls. Check that out. Call in to win them. It's going to be fun. And I want to thank everybody that's listened to us live. I want to thank everybody that's going to listen to us pre-recorded. Tune-in radio. Appreciate it. I want to wish everybody happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Hanukkah, all that great stuff. And we'll talk to everybody Monday, 6 p.m. Have a great night. Enjoy the rest of your week. Eat some food. And open some presents. Talk to you guys soon. Claudia and Chris, take it away.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for spending the year with us as we are approaching a new year. A lot of more exciting things happening for 27 Outs. A lot more going on with the website, like Frank says, a lot more players on. And for the people asking me if we have a Pirates on, yes, he's going to be on. It's Breeze McGuire, the number 1 draft pick. He's going to be on January 30th. And so make sure that you guys tune in for that, you black and yellow fans. Besides that, everybody have a Merry, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and we will be back on December 29th, and you can tweet us in some Christmas questions to ask Cody. So until then, guys, have a good one.
Hey, yeah, like you said, Frank, we're growing leaps and bounds. I'm so excited about some of the things that we're doing, some of the things that we're taking on. The growth in the website, the growth in the writers, the interest being shown by, huge names in minor league baseball. We got some guys in Major League Baseball that are interested in what we're doing, and we got some guys that may not be huge names, but they're huge people, guys that we really enjoy talking to that are a ton of fun in baseball, whether they're scouts, whether they're reporters, and even some of our players. These guys are great people, and it's such a good time interacting with them. And I was glad to be on the show today with you guys, with an independent ball player, Jake Luce, who we look forward to seeing in the future. Thanks for having me on with you, and I wish everybody a Merry Christmas as well, and glad to be a part of this with you guys.
Thanks, man. The only ironic thing about this whole thing is I'm having a Baltimore Orioles scout call in. That's the only team that we don't have a player from this year. Only team. Every single team we have more than one player on from, except the Baltimore Orioles. So
I'm working on it. We're working on it.
The only one. We have players from every team: the Yankees, Mets, Cardinals, Dodgers. Every single team. We have more than one player. We have about 50 players booked.
I'll have you 2 Orioles players before the end of the season, before the season begins. Okay.
Yeah, I mean that's the only one. I mean, so for the Oriole fans, that's a good thing to hear because obviously we like to get everybody involved in this. And for the fans, the 180 minor league teams, obviously we have a bunch of players due on. We're going to have a bunch of We're going to be at every minor league stadium because we have a bunch of people working with us now. So, knowing that we're minor league media members and credentialed, so we will have your team and your favorite minor league team's players interviews live on the field and stuff like that played back on the show. So a lot of great things. Again, a lot of top big name prospects going to be on the show. So stay tuned and keep it here. And like I said, we'll be back on Monday. Have a great holiday. Talk to everybody soon. Thanks for my 2 co-hosts for joining me. And talk to everybody Monday. Have a good one.
Man.